refugee camp or in the villages. 2 weeks ago, I visited one of them in Tulkarem, and sometimes it looks like a war zone because a security operation taking place end up most of the time now with the destruction of neighborhood, the destruction of public infrastructure, and so on. We talked also a lot today about, and I will stop here maybe after, about the funding situation of the agency. You know that before October 7, we were always talking, in fact, about the funding situation of the agency, the only agency functioning on a negative cash flow for more than 4 or 5 years. We have suffered by the absence of attention on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict over the last 10 years. Our resources have eroded, and we had more and more a mismatch between what we are expected to deliver, and we should never forget that UNRWA is unique because we are asked to provide government-like services, but we completely depend on voluntary contribution of the member states. And hence, when the member states are not prioritizing this part of the world or are not prioritizing UNRWA, we start to suffer. We had to muddle through a lot. It had an impact on the quality of our services over the last 10 years. And then we had October 7. October 7 with extraordinary, staggering needs in the Gaza Strip, for which I have to say we had a good support, but after that we had January 26, the allegation with our 12 staff, a temporary pause by a number of countries, and you know the story. 2 months later, the Catherine Colonna report has been fully published. Since all the donors have come back, we have some new donors, we have the strong generosity from the public, but all this does not compensate the suspension of our main donor, the United States, and even if we would have the United States, we would definitely not be in a sustainable path when it comes to predictable funding for the agency. So it remains a struggle. It's still part of the identified existential threat of the agency, and a big chunk of the discussion we had with a member of the Advisory Commission was very much related to funding. So I think I will stop here, and thank you.
We thank you, Philippe, for these introductory remarks. There are quite a few questions. Sorry, I've seen hands. Yeah, I'll give the floor in the order I've seen it, and I'll start with Radio France Internationale, Jérémy Lange.
Bonjour, Monsieur Lazzarini. Je vais vous faire peut-être répéter un peu ce que vous avez dit et préciser sur les vols. Vous avez dit qu'il y en a beaucoup trop aujourd'hui de convois qui sont attaqués et qui avaient également une difficulté à trouver des chauffeurs désormais pour livrer l'aide parce qu'ils avaient peur de subir ces attaques. Je voudrais savoir si c'est quelque chose qui est là depuis le début, si c'est une tendance qui est nouvelle, qui est apparue ces dernières semaines. Enfin, voilà. Dans quelle mesure ça s'est aggravé peut-être, ces attaques sur les convois d'aide humanitaire, ou si c'est bien présent depuis le début. Et ce que vous avez dit sur les enfants, je n'avais pas ce chiffre-là. Est-ce que ça vient du rapport de Save the Children? Je ne sais pas. Vous avez bien dit qu'il y avait 10 enfants par jour qu'ils perdaient l'une ou l'autre de leurs jambes. Je voudrais, voilà, juste vous préciser ça. Et là aussi, est-ce que c'est quelque chose qui est, on va dire, on fait une moyenne depuis le début du conflit, ou si c'est encore là aujourd'hui, on en a 10 par jour sur ces deux choses, les attaques et les enfants?
Oui, merci. Pour les enfants, le chiffre que je viens de vous donner sur les 10 par jour qui perdent une jambe ou 2 jambes, vous m'entendez? Oui, c'est bon. Pour les enfants qui perdent une jambe ou 2 jambes, ce n'était pas particulièrement dans le rapport de Save the Children. Ça fait partie du rapport des Nations Unies, c'est des sources WHO que UNRWA aussi utilise. Et ça ne tient pas compte des enfants qui ont perdu une main ou un bras. Donc là, je vous parle uniquement des jambes. 10 par jour, ça veut dire environ 2000 enfants après plus de 260 jours de cette guerre brutale. Et en fait, mon point ici était de dire ô combien le prix était élevé pour un enfant d'être à Gaza, et qu'au fond, Gaza n'est pas forcément une terre pour les enfants avec cette guerre. Pour ce qui est des pillages, en fait, ce qui est devenu pire qu'avant, c'est le collapse, l'écroulement. C'est l'écroulement en fait de l'ordre public, de l'ordre civil. Et effectivement, ça s'est aggravé avec certaines activités de contrebande. Et aujourd'hui, en fait, on parle de la contrebande des cigarettes. Il y a des groupes qui sont en train, de se constituer un peu partout. Mais tout simplement, ce sont les premiers signes d'un chaos qui est en train de se généraliser. D'où l'importance, en tout cas pour ce qui nous concerne, de pouvoir continuer d'utiliser la police locale, mais qui aujourd'hui ne nous escorte plus par peur d'être en fait une cible pendant ces hostilités militaires.
Jeremy, déjà, ouais.
Les chauffeurs. Alors, techniquement, il y a des chauffeurs qui refusent.
Alors, ça se passe. C'est toujours une compagnie. Donc, on travaille avec des contracteurs. Et si effectivement les contracteurs voient que leur camion pourrait être à risque d'être saccagé ou brûlé et que les chauffeurs sont, tabassés, ils vont hésiter à remettre leur camion à disposition. Et effectivement, nous avons ce genre de problème.
Laurent Sierro, de Swiss News Agency.
Oui, merci pour la conférence de presse. Je vais poursuivre en français également, du coup. Ou je peux, I can switch to English if you prefer. Quand vous venez ici régulièrement, vous parlez de la crise de liquidité en termes absolus, mais vous donnez aussi souvent un horizon qui est très utile pour permettre de se rendre compte de l'ampleur de la situation. Et à l'heure actuelle, jusqu'à quand avez-vous des liquidités? La dernière fois que vous étiez venu...
Aujourd'hui, nous avons des liquidités... Excusez-moi. Aujourd'hui, nous avons des liquidités jusqu'à la fin du mois d'août.
Et l'autre question en lien avec ça, on vous a beaucoup vu des commissions parlementaires suisses. Il y a 4 jours le feu vert maintenant pour le versement de ces 10 millions sur les 20 millions qui étaient prévus au départ. D'abord, votre réaction, est-ce que, c'était il y a 4 jours, mais est-ce que par hasard vous auriez déjà vu la couleur de cet argent depuis ?
Écoutez, c'était une bonne décision. J'ai été soulagé que les deux chambres, la chambre haute, la chambre basse, aient validé la proposition du Conseil fédéral. À mon avis, c'est la bonne décision à prendre. Et cette première tranche de 10 millions est sur le point, j'ai entendu dire que c'était sur le point d'être transféré, ou peut-être que l'ordre a déjà été donné, mais je n'ai pas vérifié le compte en banque aujourd'hui.
Merci beaucoup. Jefe, Spanish News Agency, Antonio.
Thank you. So you said that you have money until the month of August, but do you have absolute numbers on what is the funding gap? And also, in previous press conferences, you mentioned that 4 countries still were pausing its help to UNRWA. I think United States, Austria, Switzerland, United Kingdom. Some of them have already restarted the financing. Thank you.
Thank you. Regarding the funding gap, what I was sharing also today was the gap when it comes to our emergency appeal. We have, in fact, 2 emergency appeals in the region, in addition of the appeal related to our regular budget, program budget. Now, the program, when I was saying until end of August, I was referring to our regular budget, which is the backbone of the organization, which basically covers the 30,000 staff. We have cash until end of August, and basically we still have a shortfall of about $140 million to end the to bridge the end of the year. Now, when it comes to the emergency appeal, we are between 15–18% funded when it comes to the appeal on the occupied Palestinian territory, and basically we are funded at the same level when it comes to Syria, also about 15%. So these two appeals are significantly underfunded, which prevent us, for example, to do cash distribution or food distribution in Syria and Lebanon. And in Gaza, obviously, we had an appeal of $1.2 billion recently. We are at 15%. We are far from the needs we were expecting to cover. So this morning, again, an appeal to the member of the Advisory Commission to get mobilized. The next donor event will be in New York on July 12th, organized by the president of the GA, and we will, after that, have another donor event in New York in the margin of the high-level week. And this, for us, an important event, hoping that new contribution be also announced. Today, we are less funded proportionally on our program budget, the regular budget, than we were last year at the same time.
Emma Farge, Reuters.
Sorry,
do you have a follow-up, Antonio?
Just because I asked also about the countries that are still possible.
Sorry. Last time we had 4 countries. Today it's down to 2 countries. I'm also happy to say that all the EU member states are back, in addition of the European Commission. So the 2 remaining, the United States, as we know, will not come before March 2025, and the second country, which has not yet taken a decision, but they are in election mode right now, are the UK.
Okay, Emma Farge, Reuters.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for the briefing. I'm wondering if you could say whether the cigarette smuggling is actually getting into your convoys. There were photos on the internet of smuggled cigarettes in UN convoys. I'm wondering if that's a problem for you. And are you concerned that some of the funding from the partners that still have a hold on UNRWA could permanently move to other UN agencies and actually undermine the future of the agency? And if so, what can you do, or what are you doing to stop that diversion of funding to other UN or other aid agencies? Thank you.
Thank you. Just on the cigarette, convoys coming in are all brought in through private contractor, private companies. So these are not WFP convoys or UNRWA convoys, but they are convoys transporting goods for UNRWA, for WFP, for UNICEF, and so on, or for the broader aid community. So they are not proper UN convoys. So basically, we are not present when our truck is offloaded or downloaded. We are just at the end chain of as a recipient. So they have been also cigarette in trucks transporting goods for us, but here I insist they are not UN trucks or belonging to any humanitarian organization. We had a lot of discussion about partnership today, which is very much related to the question you are raising about the main donor today, which is not contributing to the UN, to UNRWA, is the United States. As we all know, they have a Congress prohibition until March 2025. So the real question is, how can the amount allocated for this part of the world, for Palestinian or for Gaza, be beneficial to anyone in the Gaza Strip, And in the Gaza Strip, as we know, we have 70% of Palestinian refugees. So are we worried that it will undermine the agency? I think we have clearly specified the parameters on how partnership will be guided between UN agencies. And basically, as long we talk about complementing the effort of UNRWA and supporting Palestinian refugees without, without taking over a set of activities, I do believe we are fine with this. The most important here is not to undermine the spirit of Resolution 302 and to make sure that through this we are not undermining the future right of the Palestinian refugees. So this has been a very sensitive debate. Even 2 years ago, you might recall, I brought it on the table. The first reaction of the communities was, no, we don't want this because it might undermine the future role of the agency and hence impact the future right of the Palestinian refugees. But this kind of feeling is especially strong when there is no political horizon or political future ahead of you, especially when people feel that nothing is remaining. So we have worked quite a lot and we have distributed this partnership concept now with our donors, and I think agencies are fully on board with this.
Mohamed Aslan, Anadolu Wansi, the Turkish news agency.
Thank you so much for the brief, sir. As you know well, Israeli accusations against UNRWA continue since 7 October. Because of this, some countries can't their help for UNRWA at the beginning of this year, and some of them changed their decision recently, as you already mentioned. My question is, despite these accusations, is international support for UNRWA increasing? Do you feel that? Thank you.
Yes, I have no doubt that there is a much better confidence today. If I compare the situation between today and 3 months ago, on the 26th of January, within 48 hours, we had up to 16 countries which temporarily indicated that they need to pause, primarily because of domestic reason, public opinion, perception, and it was a precautionary measure. So we have worked quite a lot with these countries. We have also been fully committed with Catherine Colonna's report. There were intermediary recommendations shared a month after they started, and we have been clear from day one that we will embrace any of the recommendations coming out from this report. And I do believe that this has helped to rebuild the trust with the donors, and they are back. We have also broadened our donor base, basically in the Arab world, but also in Southeast Asia, where we have more donors. But this still does not compensate, one, the void left behind by the United States, and number two, even if we would have had the United States, we would still not have filled our budget for 2024. So here we would have gone back to the traditional chronic situation in which the agency was in before October 7. And this, again, it's an issue which needs to be addressed. We need to be predictable and have a more sustainable, I would say, commitment from donors.
Can I take a couple more?
Yes?
Okay. A couple more questions. Nina Larsson, AFP.
Yes, thank you very much. I wanted to just follow up on the issue of the children who are losing limbs. If you had, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, because in the meantime we got the information about the sources UNICEF figure.
Okay. And if you had any idea, sort of, I understand the average figure per day, if you have like an estimate overall of amputations. And I also had a question, you talked about the attacks on your agency. I know yesterday there was a case that was brought against UNRWA in New York by families of hostages and other victims on October 7th. Could you say a little bit more about the attacks you're facing and how lawsuits like that will affect you? Thank you.
I think on the first question, Alessandra, you answered, no? Or
I think
no, can you
the question on the children just because
Yes.
we just
Yeah, I understood the source. I was wondering if you had a better, sort of more of an idea of the overall toll on children when it comes to amputations. If you
no,
estimates.
unfortunately not. Basically, the figures for the amputated children having lost a leg or two legs, and we also know most of the time how the amputation has taken place in quite horrible condition and sometimes without any type of anesthesia. And this was also applied to the children. But we don't have a total overview because UNICEF and WHO have been cautious enough to say that this does not even include the arms and the hand, and we have many more about this. So we don't have the total figures on this one, basically. Listen, on the attack, I had the occasion to express myself more than once. Basically, we have all type of attack. It starts with social media smearing. When I travel to Europe or to parliaments, you have detractors sending letter to all the lawmakers about UNRWA. Most of the time when we have an event, now it's the advisory commission or a donor event, there is always something coming out. The lawsuit came out yesterday, I believe. We have been also, as you know, politically announced as an objective. The agency needs to be dismantled in UNRWA. We have legislative effort in Tel Aviv at the Knesset with some lawmakers trying to label the organization as a terrorist organization or to get rid of the organization on any territory under control of Israel. We have also a lot of intimidation going on with regular demonstration in Jerusalem, which have turned also violent. We have an atmosphere, I would say, for our staff of a fear and anxiety which has been put in place. Now, on your question about the lawsuit, I learned it through the media. I have not received any notification. I don't know what the status of this lawsuit is all about. But for the time being, I see this as an additional c'est peut-être 90 c'est 10, 95 et 5 ou 80-20, je ne sais pas.
Philippe, est-ce que
Ouais.
vous voulez ajouter là? J'ai encore... So we'll take them all. Please.
Pardon?
Tu peux te présenter.
Ah oui, pardon. Frédéric Collère du journal Le Temps. Vous avez évoqué le rapport Colonna et ses recommandations qui ont aidé aussi à débloquer des fonds. Qu'est-ce qu'il en est de l'enquête interne de l'ONU sur les allégations de janvier? Sauf erreur, notamment la Suisse avait dit qu'elle débloquerait les fonds une fois qu'elle aurait connaissance des conclusions de ce rapport interne. Les fonds sont débloqués. Est-ce qu'il faut conclure que vous avez pu donner des indications comme quoi il n'y avait pas de confirmation sur ces allégations?
Voilà. Non. On avait deux. Alors, on avait une revue, la revue de Catherine Colonna, qui, elle, se focalisait uniquement sur les systèmes de gestion des risques de l'organisation et notamment sur les questions de neutralité. L'autre enquête, dans notre jargon, qui viennent des services internes, mais en français.
Ah, en français, je ne sais pas. C'est l'Office of the Internal Oversight Service.
Le bureau des enquêtes internes, ça, voilà,
Merci beaucoup.
The Internal Oversight Body des Nations Unies. Il y a eu un rapport intermédiaire qui a été rendu public. Les 12 cas sont devenus 19 cas. Sur les 19 cas, une personne a été, comment dire, le cas d'une personne a été classé, il n'y a rien, et la personne a été remise en place. Il y a 4 cas qui actuellement sont mis en veilleuse, pour lesquels il n'y a pas plus d'informations disponibles. Et puis, il y a 14 cas qui sont encore actifs, dont on ne connaît pas les conclusions. On entend dire que les conclusions devraient être imminentes. Est-ce que ça va être dans les 2 semaines ou dans le mois à venir? Je ne sais pas, parce que c'est une enquête indépendante. Mais pour l'instant, ce que l'on sait, c'est qu'il y a 14 cas actifs.
On va finir avec les deux dernières questions. Madame, and then Jamie for AP.
Thank you. My name is Satoko Adachi. I work for Yomiuri Shimbun. You have been consistently talk about there should be independent investigation on the attacks against the UN premises and then also UN aid workers, including UNRWA employees. Which UN entities would be appropriate to create such a mandate to set up the independent investigation? You know, it could be UN Security Council, Human Rights Council. So if you could just name it.
Yes, I addressed the Security Council about 6 weeks ago on this specifically, and basically I called on the member of the Security Council to put in place such an investigative capacity. Now, would it be the Security Council? Would it be the Human Rights Council? Would it be the General Assembly? I don't know what the best mechanism is all about. But what I know is that we cannot do nothing with such blatant disregard of a staff premises protected by international law. If we do so, again, we will set a new norm for future conflict.
Thank you very much. Last question, Jamie Keaton, Associated Press.
Hi, Mr. Lazzarini. Thank you for coming back to see us. If you could just specify the 2 countries that have come back of the 4 that you mentioned. There's 2 that are remaining. So who are the 2 ones that came back? And you also mentioned the broadening of the funding from Southeast Asia and I believe you said some Middle Eastern countries. Is that from governments or is that from individual donors? And then as a final thing, I'd just like to ask, you mentioned also in your statements that with the Colonna report that you're prepared, you will apply the Colonna report recommendations throughout, whatever they are. I understand from some NGOs that there's already been some backsliding. The question is really, are you now applying all of those Kelowna report recommendations throughout UNRWA, including, say, for example, in Lebanon and other Palestinian areas? Thank you.
Do you have something specific in mind in Lebanon?
Mike.
There's been some new allegations that you maybe are aware of. Maybe you can tell us about.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Tried a few times. Officially, the last two countries who came back were Austria and Romania. I think we were talking about Switzerland, but Switzerland officially did not suspend. It was more a decision process, which has taken a little bit longer. We had, in the Arab world, new countries were Iraq, we had Algeria, we had not completely new, but not traditional Oman who came. We had an exceptional contribution also of Jordan being a host country, paying already their share, but we had a contribution from Jordan. We had private sector in Singapore, for example, individual giving. We had recently a contribution from Sri Lanka. We had a contribution from a few Central Asian states. I can tell you after. I don't want to mistake right now. So yes, there have been a broadening. And in addition of that, as you know, we had a very successful private fundraising campaign. Since October 7, $125 million have been raised through private channel, which is exceptional for the agency. When it comes to the recommendation of the Kelowna report, recently we had adopted a new policy when it comes to political affiliation. We have adopted a new policy when it comes to partnership. These were recommendations coming from the report. We have told the member of the Advisory Commission that some recommendations will be implemented as from now on. Others will require some resource. We have received resources from few countries, so we are recruiting staff to reinforce the internal oversight bodies, our investigative capacity, the human resource department, and so on. And then we will have recommendations which will take longer, and we will require the political support of both the donor but also of the host country. Now, the case you are referring right now in Lebanon is a specific case. The information given by NGOs has been completely wrong and misleading. I went to Beirut on a specific case. You might know that our offices were blocked for more than 2 months, and I had long discussion with all the political faction. And basically, I have told them that I cannot, as a head of an agency, accept that you prevent us to have access to our headquarters and premises. And if you continue to do so because you want to put us under pressure, I'm ready to hand over the keys to the faction. So at the same time, I had also a conversation with the government asking if the government would be ready to ensure that we have full access to our premises. When I left, the person we are talking about is still suspended, remains suspended, and is on administrative leave without pay, and nothing has changed until the end of the investigation. So it's quite deliberately dishonest to try to make believe that my visit was to give in and to reinstate an individual who is under investigation and being fully suspended. If that is the case you were referring to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philippe. I think you've been extremely exhaustive. We let you rest before the start of the Advisory Commission works again this afternoon. Thanks for being so generous with the Geneva Press Corps. Thanks to all of you who follow the press conference here and online. And good luck with the end of the works. And we wait for you next time you come to Geneva. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone. Buon après-midi.
She's close to me, my heart is filled with ecstasy, and like a dove I let the chance slip by. Yeah, I should have told her then, but all I did was sit and grin, and ended up so mad that I could cry, 'cause I'm a shy guy. I wish I was a sly guy. Then I could say, baby, baby, I love you, just like those guys in moving pictures all do.
Die nächste Sendung Jazz Made in Switzerland hören Sie morgen wieder auf Radio Swiss Jazz.
Rendez-vous demain pour la prochaine session Jazz Made in Switzerland.
La vie c'était battant. Tout doux, tout doux, tout doucement. Toujours, tout doux, tout doucement. Comme ça, la vie je la comprends. N'allez jamais trop vite, vous avez tout le temps. Attention à la dynamite. Prenez garde au volcan, à ces jeunes énervés qui ne savent pas aller. Tout doux, tout doux, tout doucement. Toujours tout doux, tout doucement. Comme ça, en flânant gentiment. simplement pour avoir la réussite. Soyez très très prudents, l'amour alors viendra se blottir dans vos bras. Tout doux, tout doux, tout doucement, toujours tout doux, tout doucement, comme ça, en flânant gentiment, en souriant gentiment, en flânant gentiment, tout doucement, tout doucement, tout doucement, tout doucement, tout doux.
Radio Swiss Jazz. Music Pure.
was blue and high above. The moon was new and so was love. The cigar heart of mine is singing, lover, where can you be? You came at last, love had its day. That day is past, gone away. The second heart of mine is singing, lover, come back to me. When I remember every little thing you used to do, I'm so lonely. Every road I walked along with you. No wonder I am lonely. The sky is blue, the night is cold, the moon is new, but love is old. And wild and waiting, feel this heart of mine singing, never come back to me. Thing you used to do, I'm so lonely. Every road I walk along with you. No wonder I am lonely. The sky is blue, the night is cold, the moon is new, love is old. And while I'm waiting, feel this heart of mine is singing, never come back, never come back, never come back to me. Never come back. from May to December, but the days grow short when you reach September, when the autumn weather turns the leaves to flames. One hasn't got time for the maiden game. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. I'm gonna be with you. Oh, yeah. But the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days when you're in my house, I feel I need you.
Radio Suisse Jazz. Music pure.
J'empile en te rêvant un tas de nuits sans sommeil et me déride hélas qu'avec beaucoup de peine mes bulles de savon grèvent dans un ciel de traîne et lors de ta présence font comme neige au soleil. Je bâillonne ma raison, méprise ses conseils, car j'attends patiemment le chant d'une sirène. Et si je suis lassé par ces veilles incertaines, pourrais-je un jour l'entendre, entendant bien l'oreille? Car moi tu vois, moi j'ai le blues de toi. La tristesse et la joie, tour à tour me ballottent. Je traîne un mauvais spleen dans une vie qui flotte. Est-ce trop te demander qu'un bel éclat de rire, ou si c'est abusé l'esquisse d'un sourire? Les vers que tu me souffles sont-ils si mal tressés qu'ils n'effleurent pas ton cœur à double tour fermé? Je crois ronger ma plume pour des cajots de prunes dans le jour qui s'endort sans un rayon de lune. Car moi tu vois, moi j'ai le blues de toi. Car moi tu vois, moi j'ai le blues de toi. Car moi tu vois, moi j'ai le blues de toi.